Hello there, Captains, and welcome back to another episode of Game Fact Files. Today I'm going to show you the purple Luffy list I used and won the last local tournament just yesterday. Before we jump into the main content, take a moment to celebrate the two winners of our last giveaway. A round of applause for them. If you're loving the content, be sure to subscribe and show some love by hitting that like button. Your actions make a significant impact, contributing to the growth and success of our channel. If your meta has a big portion of yellow players like mine for the last weeks, purple Luffy is one of the best choices to play. You will need to play second on this matchup, and your best turn 2 play with a ramp from your leader is Magellan. Magellan is vital for this, so if you don't have one in your starting hand, you should consider going for a mulligan to find a copy of him. If we take a look at the Dawn sequence, on your second turn, getting an extra Dawn from your leader, you can play a 5 Dawn cost character like Kid or Queen, preventing your character being killed from Gadatsu on your opponent's next turn. However, playing a Magellan on curve and making your opponent go back at 2 Dawn makes you able to play a 7 Dawn character ramping with your leader again. Magellan makes so much impact versus Katakuri if you are playing second, making him unable to use Dawn on his leader and attack for 7,000. His best play at 4 Dawn is to play a Cracker or a Sanji from hand, and you can easily kill it with a Polly with your 7 Dawn, or playing a Kid or Urashima, making him unable to play 8 Dawn Katakuri on his next turn, giving you the time to play a second big threat like Luffy or Kaido on your next turn. Going back into the deck list, I'm going to add 4 copies of Kid and 4 copies of Queen. I will use 2 copies of 7 Dawn Kid and 2 copies of Urashima for our 7 Dawn. While Kid is good in some scenarios and certain opponents, I don't like him being bricked on our hand. I prefer having a big vanilla that is also able to be discarded for counter. I will then add 3 copies of Polly and 1 copy of King for our main removals. You can also play 2 of each and tweak your deck depending on your usual opponents. The next cards I'm going to use are 4 copies of Ulti and 4 copies of Page 1 for the turn 2 combo if you are playing first. Continuing the list with the 4 Dawn cards, I will add 4 copies of Law in the deck for his discard ability when needed, and then add 4 copies of Double Finger and 4 copies of Khalifa for their counter. Between the last 2, Khalifa is the card you should play on board on your turn 2, not only because she is fixing your hand when attacking, but she will get a free hit saving 1 more card from your counters. The next cards I am using are 2 copies of Kaido and 2 copies of Luffy, 1 vanilla and 1 copy of the secret rare that gets you extra turn. Kaido will usually work as a finisher since he is making you unable to play something big next turn. Playing a 10 Dawn Luffy after an Urashima is a power play, and you can even play the secret one without using his on-play ability. The minus 10 Dawn ability is your best play to use versus Enel when his life reaches 0 to finish him. The next cards I am using in deck will be 3 copies of Jet Gatling and 1 copy of Blast Breath. Gatling will help countering and getting rid of any non-counter cards that will maybe get bricked on our hands. And Blast Breath is a nice card that can also be used on your 10 Dawn turn along with Kaido. The last cards I will include will be 2 copies of Sheep's Horn to get rid of any unwanted blockers at the late game. Possible changes of the deck if you want to be a yellow killer is to include 4 copies of Hannibal and be able to search for Magellan. I would probably cut 1 copy of King, 2 copies of Law, and 1 copy of Double Finger for those spots. I would probably also cut 1 copy of Sheep's Horn and would use 1 more copy of the vanilla Luffy. And now that we have the full deck list, let's jump into Sim and test some games. I'm going to mulligan this one and search for Magellan. Let's see if he's going to take the first damage and search for a trigger. If he doesn't find one, I will play Law and make him discard 2 cards here. One Enel and 1 Katakuri down. We could play Polly here if we didn't use Law last turn, but we got Magellan, so we're good. I am still going to ramp a Dawn here to avoid losing Law from a Gadatsu. I will keep Law in defense mode in case he finds another trigger. Okay, he found the worst one for us. Here's a Thunderbolt on Law. He has 3 spare Dons, so the maximum attack he can do with Cracker is for 9,000. I will take the first hit and block his Cracker attack. We have a poly play here, so let's see if he's going to save Cracker from Magellan. He is attacking for 5,000. He will either play Enel Rush or a Lin here. Okay, there she is. I will have to lose my life here and go for lethal next turn with Luffy. I don't have the luxury to give him life at this state. That's it, guys. Time to play the big guy here. Nothing to play on this turn. Let's attack for 7 and pass turn. That's an easy counter here. He has 4 Dons, so he will probably play a Sanji or a Cracker. Okay, here's the thing. We would play Magellan here, but on his next turn he's having 6 Don, so there's nothing to be scared of. We can ramp and play Urashima, and keep Magellan for next turn, to cut his Katakuri drop at 8. He is attacking for 6,000 and kept the 5 Don open. He is either going for a Gadatsu play, or he wants me to think he is going for Gadatsu, and maybe he is going to attack for 10,000 with Sanji. Either way, I am going to counter this one, and see how it will go. We can afford losing 1 more life and go for double Magellan here, since we don't have any 4 cost on hand. I'm going to counter this one. Otherwise, if he goes all in with Gadatsu, I won't be able to save that one. Okay, that's a clever thing he did. Unfortunately, we lack 1,000 to save the big guy. Kid is useless in this situation. We need to get rid of Gadatsu, but we can't attack his leader with that many cards on hand. He is also having a Katakuri play next turn. Let's use 1 Don on our leader so he thinks we will play a Kaido here, and we will play a 3rd Magellan. If he saves him again, we will go for Kaido and kill both. He played a rush Katakuri. I will take the first damage and block the next one. Let's see what he has on hand. He didn't block the first attack, so his hand is either bricked from Magellan's, or he is baiting us for lethal. We don't have any other choice but go for lethal, though. I could play a Sheep's Horn here, but if he finds a Thunderbolt trigger on a Magellan, we will have problem. Okay, let's play Kaido now and see his hand. That's a nice hand for this match. We are going straight for a Magellan play. I am blocking this one with double finger. We either ruined his Miss Sunday play here, so he was forced to play the double finger, or he is ramping on purpose to catch up the race. I'm going to counter this one as well. We are going straight for Urashima on our turn. I would play Kid here if I didn't have Luffy on hand, but the follow-up play is insane. Nothing can kill these beasts that early in game. A Miss Sunday as a reply on 9,000 character is great for us. That was unexpected here. I don't know what he is thinking, but I ain't gonna save Magellan. Let's attack his double finger first with our leader. Time for the big Luffy. Here's a Crocodile. Let's block any attacks we can here. I only have 2 counters on hand, so I will probably get 1 damage if he attacks with his double finger. I will play Kid here, and then try to kill everything. Let's save this one with a Gatling. He played a Linlin here, so his maximum attack he can do with his leader is 7,000. Since I can still block it with the other Gatling, I am choosing to lose the life. I will attack for 10,000 first, to see if he will spend a Blast Breath on this one. He can only be saved from a lucky trigger here. That was all for today, Captains. I hope you enjoyed the content. Feel free to write in comments any tweaks you like in Purple Luffy deck lists. And I will see you soon in the next episode of Game Fact Files.